I am Geoffrey, I'm in World of Tanks. Patch 1.13 will soon be with us, and as you know, there's a lot of talk about forthcoming HE shell changes, because as we know, tanks that fire HE are a big problem. I'm not talking about the KV2, of course we know the KV2 has incredible pen, but the majority of the other ones don't pen, and that's a problem. And so now this problem will be fixed by nerfing their shots, so they make even less damage when they don't pen. And now, what kind of tank we need to fire HE on, let's say, the KV1? Probably be tanks like some tanks that cannot pen at all, so maybe a TD. I was once, like 2 days ago, I was accused of firing HE at a KV1. The KV1 player called me a cheater. He said I was cheating because I fired HE at him. So you get the drift. And of course, the other type of tank that's going to fire HE is Spg. So let's have a look at a tier 5 Spg. So notice I have a star in the barrel here. Okay, I'm going to show you a tank, an Spg that has 3 marks on its barrel. Look at that, huh? 3 marks. Okay, look at all this stuff that I have on this tank. You know, this kind of ace tanker and, you know, whatever, you know, all these other things. Well, I'm going to show you a battle with this one and a battle with the KV1. And before we compare them in the battles, let's have a look here. I just played a couple of battles today. I'm just going to show you 2 of these. So okay, let's first have a look at the comparison. And so, what does an SPG have that a KV1 doesn't have? Well, okay, it doesn't have firepower. Okay, it has here 118 versus 261. Well, it says average damage 540, but that's if it pens. And it can only pen 38 millimeters of armor. And if it doesn't pen 38 millimeters of armor, which is definitely the KV1 has a lot more armor than that, then it's not going to cause 540 damage. Unfortunately, it's going to cause a lot less damage, maybe 100 or something like that. But okay, so it doesn't have penetration. Okay, it doesn't have average damage. It has minimum stamp duration. It has that, you know. Okay, and doesn't have the rate of fire. Okay, it fires 3 times a minute. The KV1 fires 15 times in a minute. So by the time the Grille has fired once and caused whatever 100 damage, the KV1 has fired 5 times and it's caused 5 times 160 damage. Right. Okay, but gun loading. Okay, same sort of thing. Gun traverse speed. Okay, the KV1 is a little bit fast. They can also turn the whole vehicle, not just the gun. Okay, there's that. Gun depression, all those other things. Aiming time here, we have 4.9. I'm going to show you some battles and see how representative this is. So it says here 4.9 aiming time for the Grille, 2.66 aiming time for the KV1. We'll have a look at the battles and see how much does this reflect reality, because, you know, it means that the Grille is only twice as low to aim as the KV1. But then it has, unfortunately, more dispersion. So there's that, okay? And less damage per minute, even not accounting the fact that it's firing HE, which is even going to be nerfed. And so let's have a look then some of the other stats. Maybe, you know, it doesn't look so good when it comes to firepower, but maybe mobility. Mobility looks like it's doing better. You know, it has more mobility. That's something. Where is it better at? It's better at, let's see, top speed. So the Grille has more top speed forward only. So it can run forward into battle faster. Traverse speed is a little bit faster, but of course the KV1 can turn the hole in the gun. There's that. Concealment is better, so it has more concealment. 31 versus 1583 when it's stationary, but when it's moving, the difference is very small. So when it's firing, the difference is very small. And spotting, it's not quite as good as the KV1. You wouldn't go spotting in a Grille I. There's also that. Well, okay, but as we all know, it's an easier tank to play. And why is it easy? Let's reflect on it. Why is it easy? In the meantime, I'm going to go and have a look at some of the websites that compare various tanks and see how do they compare. Let's compare first, start with this one, World of Tanks, GG. And then come back to the question, why is the SPG easier to play, considering it has all those other handicaps? Well, it's a little bit faster, I guess. It can run forward faster, but it's handicapped in almost every other way. So why is it easier to play? But before we get to that, since it's easy to play, it ought to have a very high win rate, because all sorts of people will be playing it because it's easy to play, and therefore will have a high win rate. So I'm expecting the top 5 tanks to be SPGs. Okay, the first one is not Panzer II, a very heavily armoured, impenetrable tier 2 tank. Okay, Su-76 is not heavily armoured. I'll grant you that. Object 279. E is heavily armoured, so we're looking at win rates here. Win rate 60.56. So the fourth tank must be, I guess, an SPG. Where are the SPGs? No, it's Concept 1B. Panzer 5-4, that's also very heavily armoured. T95 FB is heavily armoured. Chimera is heavily armoured. Panzer 38H heavily armoured. Panzer CES 35 is heavily armoured. Object 907 heavily armoured. But the FCM 36 by 40 is not heavily armoured for a change. So we have 2 tanks that are not heavily armoured, but still were the SPGs. So KV-220 heavily armoured, Panzer B2 heavily armoured, BT, I don't know this tank, T28, not really heavily armoured, it's a medium tank. KV-220 heavily armoured, VK-72 heavily armoured, T22, that's fine. Oh, no SPGs, I thought they were easy to play. I expect they'll have the highest win rates since they're easy to play. I guess not. Let's have maybe this website will have some SPGs in the top 10. Okay, let's see. Concept 1B, Car 45T, ranked again. This is ranked by average win rate. This is ranked by average win rate, whichever you prefer. It don't seem to change all that much. So, Object 279E in third place, as we saw before, T22, heavy armor medium, Panzer IIJ, heavy armor light. Okay, we have the Su-76I again. K Panzer 50T, Chimera, heavy armor TD. If I'm not mistaken, it's a medium tank. Thought it was a TD for some reason. Panzer 5-4, Germany medium tank. It's actually even just one TD, really. It's heavy tanks and medium tanks, and this OP light, the Panzer IIJ. Object 907, VK-72, Chieftain, only position 15. You know, this is the problem, you know, it's all that HE that the SPGs are firing that do not allow these heavy tanks to be higher up in the ranks. They could be like in position 0 and -1 and -2 or something. Because they're being fired at by HE, they can't perform so well. So let's have a look. Panzer 5-4, T95A6, YS5, Excalibur, all the other ones we saw earlier. So where are the SPGs? Okay, we have 100 tanks here. There ought to be SPGs. At least the top 50 must have been some SPGs. No, nothing in the top 50. Must be some SPGs somewhere. They all need T5, IS-2S, T95, Panzer 38H, T44. Well, Sentinels here, surprisingly. IS-2. Where are the SPGs who nearly reached the bottom of this list? Oh, here's one. The FTBS, Tier 2, firing high explosive, firing HE. At Tier 2, this is a very big problem. It's in position 93. 93 or 94, something like that. And further down we have the leichte, whatever, Feld, Haubitze, blah blah bits, Vi, in position 100, yeah. So, it's a very big problem, these tanks firing HE. They are destroying the rankings, you know, and they are so OP, you know. And so, why are they easy to play? People will say, oh, it's easy to play because you can, you know, you only have to fire 3 times in a minute, so the rest of the time you can be relaxing. The problem, you only fire 3 times in a minute, because with the exception of the leaf blower, is because you take, you know, 20 minutes to reload, and then you take 10, so you take 20 seconds to reload, and, you know, 10 seconds to aim, and another 2 seconds for your shot to hit. And you cannot fire more often because you have to wait for all this. Assuming you have a target that's stationary and it's out in the open, you have to wait for 12 seconds for something to happen before you move. You know, it's a little bit like we have to wait for the pulsars to, you know, for that event. We had to wait, you know, for who knows, whatever it was, a very long time, to observe the gravitational fields, because it only happens one every so often. And, you know, you may say, oh, it's very easy, whereas a gunner's work, or, you know, someone who builds fences or something like this, works every day, you know, does things all the time. That's very hard. This is the kind of comparison we have between heavy tanks and Pspgs. And I think the unfortunate problem with all this is that the majority of the people are not very good, yeah? And the majority of the people will play tanks that are easy to play, that is heavy tanks. And then, because they're not so good, they get hit by HE shots, because nothing else will penetrate them. You know, if you have a bottom tier TD, you have to fire HE shots, for example, some of the time. And if you're an SPG, you'll have no option. So you're going to fire HE shots on these tanks, and of course they're being annoyed that someone is doing damage to them, and sometimes they can't even see them. You know, some SPGs, some sneaky SPGs firing from across the map and is doing damage to them, and it's a problem. And of course the YouTubers, the content providers, you know, since the majority of the player base is these sort of people, of course they are going to pander to them. Whoever it is, I'm not going to call names, but you know, you've seen it across the board. Everyone's saying, you know, how big a problem the SPGs are, how OP they are, and easy to play, and so on. I'm going to show you 2 battles, first with the Grille here, the triple mark Grille, and then with the KB1. How much damage I did, and you'll tell me which one was easier and which one is easy to play. I'm not going to say anything, you'll decide for yourselves. These are 2 battles that I've played more or less back to back, so I played 3 or 4 battles today. Here's the first one with the Grille, and I played this the Toaster, and then I played the KB1. Why can't they give it a real name like Grille or Vespe or some other insect? Why they have to call it PZSFLIVC, whatever? Why can't you give it a name? Alright, let's go for the first battle. This was the Grille. The Grille, what's that? The Cricket. Okay, I have to close this first. Exit game. And then let's try and launch it once again. So here's the Grille battle. We are getting live oaks. It's a nice open map. Grille can do well in these situations. And here's my Grille with the triple marks on the barrel. Right into the sunset. Well, whatever it is, sunset or sunrise. Let's see what we can do. And I'm going to show you how long it takes to aim, how long it takes to reload, how long it takes for the shell to get in your. And compare with the KB1. Driving into action slowly. Alright. You don't drive too close to the action with this one. It has 15 millimeters of armor. So, let's see what happens. I'll show you how long it takes to aim. So, 26 and 20, what was 30, 25, 26, 24, 23, 2, 21, 10 seconds. 10 seconds optimistically. Let's try this again. So I was 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 6, 8 seconds. That wasn't so bad. 8 seconds. Between 8 and 10 seconds to aim. That's as long as you're not traversing the vehicle. If you have traversed the vehicle, it's going to be a different story. Okay, let's see here. I'm traversing the vehicle. Let's have a look now. Here, how long this is going to take. Okay, I can't even reach. Can't even reach here. Oh, you can shoot everywhere on the map. Here it's behind the building. Oh, you can shoot behind buildings. In an SPG, no problem. Okay, I reckon this was at least 10 seconds. Okay. Alright, let's count. So that was 30, 28, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. 10 seconds to aim.
Now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
Right, blind shot. Basically. Okay, I got someone with a blind shot. Fortunately, he stopped moving just where I was aiming. It was total luck. And now this guy's behind the building. But the last one was 10 seconds to aim. And it would be interesting if we can't move. I should have counted there. I expect there was another 10 seconds. Okay, there's someone in that spot. But 8 seconds minimum, 10 seconds. It could take longer. Like here, let's see. It's 28, 27, 25, 28 it was. 21, 20, 17. Okay, that took 11 to 12 seconds. So that's what I'm saying. So there is, if you also traverse the tank itself, it's going to take 12 seconds. If you don't traverse the tank, it's going to take between 8 and 10 seconds. So this is a tank that have a full-scale crew in, with brothers in arms and all kinds of things. It's like one of the best grillers in the game. Look how long it takes. I'm still trying to aim. This guy's dead. Aim. Aim. And it goes nowhere near, of course, because the circle, the aiming circle, is so huge. It didn't even go within the circle. It just landed somewhere at the edge. Let's see how this guy. So how long it's going to take. So that was 23, 19. Okay, this is slightly faster. 23, 8 seconds. Okay, and of course it didn't move. So blind shot another guy. But that's totally fortuitous. This is the only chance you get to shoot at anyone, basically, with an SPG. If you stay stationary out in the open. Who's going to do that? Who's going to be in the KV-1 out in the open, stationary? What sort of player would do that?
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
Another blind shot. This is the only way you can kill anyone with HE in an SPG, and it's gonna be nerfed. Okay, it's staying stationary, out in the open.
Sorry. Death awaits you all with nasty big pointy teeth.
Caught fire. Totally like it. Totally like it. Of course, the KV-1 catches fire easily, but okay. Now I'm getting blind shoot this bush because there was someone hiding behind this bush earlier on. But who knows? This is gonna be another kill. Can someone spot? Okay, let's have a look again. Okay, okay, here I cannot tell you how long it's gonna aim because I can't even reach that far with this gun. So much with seeing everywhere in the map. The problem is you can see everywhere in the map, but you cannot shoot beyond whatever 400 meters anyway. What's the point of seeing someone who's 500 meters away? And it says I've done 220 damage so far. Of course I have those blind shots. I can't reach that. I can reach him if he'll stay still. So that was 13. Okay, it's gone. It's no point. No point counting. Could be there. Could be anywhere by now. He's moving around quite clearly. He's come back from war. Or is it a different time? Oh no, it's the same time. He was there all the time. He was in that bush all the time. I wonder if I hit him earlier on. Try, yeah, I guess gone underneath the bridge. Hopeless, hopeless! Would you not rather be in a KV1? That's a KV1 coming along. I bet he's gonna have big problems. Man, I bet he is not triple marked either. Another blind shot. The idiot behind is barricaded behind the leaf blower. That's a good tank to barricade behind. It has a lot of armor. Nowhere near where I was aiming. Look where the shot was. It didn't land anywhere near where I was aiming. It's not even in the circle. Yeah, the Panzer V that has no armor barricaded behind the lift blower because the lift blower has tons of armor, I guess. Ridiculous. Hopeless players. These are the sort of players that play the heavy tanks, the heavily armored tanks. These are the tanks that come on the top of the list. I mean, the Panzer V-4 was one of the best tanks in the rankings that you saw earlier. And he's going to complain that somebody shooting him with HE.
Just a flesh wound.
Caused 100 damage to the Excalibur. Oh, the KV1 had trouble shooting him. Right, so that's so much with this battle. Just an SPG, which if I remember correctly, is going to drown. So let's go to the next battle. I'll show you now the KV1 battle. We compared it with this one. See which one was the easiest tank to play. Okay. Well, this is a tough map for the KV1, I guess. It's a slightly open map. And I'm not top tier, I'm not bottom tier either. I'm middle, whatever. And the matchmaker, middle tier. So that's okay, I guess that's comparable with the Guerrilla battle that was all tier 5. So I normally stick to the meta and go where I am expected to go because that's usually the correct decision to make, in my opinion.
We can guarantee you that not a single armoured division will get done over for 15 bubble week.
Right, as long as my KV1 is not done over, I'll give you 15 bubble week. So this is a tricky passage here if they had some aggressive light tanks, but there aren't any SPGs in this battle, which is, I don't know, is this a coincidence? I mean, usually people complain that at tier 5 and tier 6 there are too many SPGs, but I guess this is an exception. And so then you could do the crossing without being shot at, but also without shooting anyone. Okay, we're at one tank down already. And let's see. Okay, I've spotted someone. Well, that's something that an SPG will never or rarely spot anybody. There's that. Okay, this guy's yelling.
Erogenous zone!
Okay, tracked him.
You're fucking nicked me, old beauty!
Okay, the steward is trying to track me. I'm trying to avoid being tracked by the steward.
We got lumps of it around.
Well, fortunately, I wasn't in an SPG in this encounter. Okay, the BDR is charging forward. Now, of course, the SPG could easily shoot this guy, whereas in the KV-1 I would never, in a heavy tank, I would never be able to shoot the BDR. But if it was an SPG, and he was, okay, the KV-2 got it.
Only nuts.
Alright, I killed
How shall we fuck off, oh lord?
Hopefully his gunner. He got me back anyway. Maybe I shot his loader.
Hampstead wasn't good enough for you, was it?
I got that.
You
And
had to go pouncing off the
now
Barnsley.
is the time to gang upon the IARL-44. Let's gang upon him. You gang upon him going backward. What is the Cromwell doing? Oh, come on, I would have shot him by now.
You're fucking nicked me, old beauty!
What is the Cromwell doing? Now I decided to go forward.
Well, man, you've given us a good run for our money. What?
Fortunately, KV took him out. You can tell how brilliant are these non-SPG players around here. Either KV2 did, KV2 played well. And he must have a gun runner, which was fortunate. So I'm heading back to the base because we are already losing 5-8, and the enemy team has twice as much HE almost as we have. Okay, 6-8. The situation has improved somewhat. Now I'm a little bit worried about the STIVM-42, which is on the ship. It might shoot my, at least might spot me, if not shoot my back. But we may be able to shoot my back when I get up onto the high ground. But let's look at the aiming circle, yeah? I mean, it was supposed to be, what was it? It was supposed to be 0.39 or 0.37 or something? I mean, it's very small. I'm moving. Look how small it is. And let's see how long it'll take to aim. It was supposed to be half as fast as in the Grille. Let's see how long it's going to take me to aim with this gun. I'm moving around. Let's see how long I'm going to take. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
Very good. Do it again.
3 seconds.
Oh dear, is he alright?
3 seconds. 266. So it was 266. And that's how long it takes for the KV-1. But the Grille said something like 5 something, but it was actually taking 8, 10 or even 12 seconds to aim. Oh, come on, how can nobody spot him, for crying out loud?
He's that most rare of criminals, a blancmange
Yeah,
impersonator
right, I'm
and
dead.
cannibal.
He is sneaking away and buttering up.
I'll start again.
How can someone not spot him out in the
Bellwether, I
open in
understand
front
you
of your
don't contradict
nose?
people.
Yes, I do.
Okay. But let's see, I did 1,530 damage, 244 assist, and the Grille had something like 330 plus some blind shots. So I'm gonna stop it here. Okay, I mean, it says a little bit. Where's everybody gone? There's nobody here. They're all dead by the time I arrived. Maybe there's someone this side. I guess not. Oh! There's someone behind me. Luckily, he's dead. Alright, let's just stop this, okay? And let's have a look at the final results of the two tanks and see how we did. Where would they be? They would be here. And I think that was the Grille I. I've marked it. Let's have a look at the Grille. A 1,165 damage, 472 assist. An OP tank that has been nerfed. Now that's triple marked as well. Okay, kill 3 tanks, 2 of them by blind shots. Grille, second by damage. Well, there's that. There's that. Okay. And let's skip this now and let's go and have a look. Not at the glorious Grille, but at the KV1, which is, I suppose, it's one of these two. Let's have a look. Is it this one? Okay, here's the KV1. 15, 30 damage, 244 assists plus. I spotted 1 tank. 4th by experience, 3rd by damage. This is the guy who was a Cromwell. He didn't do too badly. This guy came 2nd, 47. Jackson. 46%. Interesting teammates. And this is the enemy team? What was that? Sorry. No, that was a Jackson? No, that was the second one. The W's they had. 49.63. How about the enemy players? So Max, this guy. 46% the top player in the enemy team. What? And he did how much damage? He has a personal rating of 376. He did 2,600 damage. Oh my god, these are the Mickey Mouse battles we have to fight nowadays. I don't know how it was in the old days, but this is how it is. Okay, and so this is what I had to say about the forthcoming patch in relation to the HE changes, what I think about them, how necessary they were. You are the judges. Thank you for watching.